Hello everyone and welcome to this video. A very quick video today about me, a little bit of explanation about who I am, what I do, how I got here. I get a lot of questions every single day about all of this stuff, so I thought why not just make a little video and explain all of it so that a lot of your questions can be answered. Now first of all, just want to say give yourself a little bit of credit for even clicking on this video. It takes a lot to be aware of your self-sabotage. The fact you know you're doing it and the fact that you've clicked on this video means you're trying to do something about it anyway. So please give yourself a little bit of credit, because it's very easy to turn a blind eye to your self-sabotage and just pretend everything's okay when it's actually not, and it takes immense sort of courage to kind of admit that. So give yourself a little bit of credit, and that's what I wanted to say at the very, very start of this. But yeah, and look, if you want to have a chat with me, please watch this video to the end. I'll discuss that more at the end, but please watch this video and see if this program is for you, because it might not be, right? It might not be the right fit for you. So please watch this to the end before you decide to have a little chat with me, because I don't want to waste your time, okay? And that's the reason for this video. So yeah, let me just briefly and firstly, talk about who I am, okay? My name's Liam. If anyone doesn't know, you've probably came here from my Instagram, and if you haven't, you can check that out. The link will be in the description. And I thought I would kick us off here. And to put it lightly, I was a serial self-sabotager, okay? And if you followed me for a while, you'll know that drinking was the biggest issue in my life, okay? And it might not be for you, but binge drinking was the biggest issue in my life. Amongst other things, smoking, doom scrolling, procrastination, they were all sort of in my life for a long period of time now. Drinking for about 10 years. Okay, my drinking was in my life for 10 years. Probably 6-7 years of that was really bad. It was bad binge drinking, okay. Smoking, not so much, maybe 4 or 5 years. Doom scrolling, it's been there since I've had a smartphone, okay. And procrastination is something that, I've been, let's use the word, plagued with, okay. I've been plagued with procrastination since I was young. As far as I can remember, to be honest, it was always a case of, let's see how much I can get done in the last minute, and let's see how much I can get away with. And that's been my life. That's, as far as I honestly can remember, that's the attitude I've had towards absolutely everything. So yeah, that was me. And if you name a habit, trust me, binge watching YouTube, like I said, drinking, smoking, doom scrolling, procrastinating, sitting on reels, on anything you can think of, I've been there, I've done it, so I completely understand what you're going through. So why do I work with business owners? What's the business thing got anything to do with? Well, I used to run Facebook ads for e-commerce companies, okay? I was self-employed at the time, and things were going really well. Things were going pretty well. It was, things were on the up. But my situation was, and this was just before COVID, okay? I stopped doing all of this, and a lot of it was due. In fact, I say a lot of it. It was the fact that I didn't do that, and that sort of collapse was due to my bad habits, right? And first of all, my drinking, like I mentioned. What would happen with me is I would have a week or two of maybe doing really well, signing some clients, new clients on board, sales calls, getting good client results. Everything felt amazing and fantastic. But that's when I personally was at my most vulnerable, okay? I would always sabotage all of my growth after small wins, as I've wrote down here. And that was kind of my life. It was, I'd get to a certain level, I'd feel great, I would sabotage straight back down. I would get to a certain level, I would sabotage. I was just caught in a constant cycle, and I felt like there was no way out. Until one day, I just got sick and tired of it. To be quite honest, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, which is probably a phrase that you have heard before. I just got to the point where I need to make a change, and I need to do something differently, because all I had done up until that point was just get back to work, think absolutely everything's okay for a week or two, and then, as I said, get vulnerable where I'm feeling good and fall straight back into my habits. I was just papering over the cracks. And that is exactly what happened to me hundreds or thousands of times. Honestly, I wouldn't even be able to count how many times that happened to me. So I knew I had to make a change, okay, and I had to do this differently. So I took actions to deal with my drinking and procrastination. I researched a lot, I read a lot of papers, I read a lot of books, I watched a lot of content online from people I respected. And I developed a plan for myself because I needed structure. I needed to do this differently instead of just waking up on a Monday and thinking, I'm fine now, or I'm going to do it this week, right? Which never worked for me, right? I needed a real structure to help me reverse all of these habits and reverse the years of habits that had actually been programmed into my head, right? And you can't just do that by waking up. And maybe some people can, but I certainly couldn't, right? And I'd failed at it every single time. So developed a plan. And I worked through that myself. And the results of that are that I've not had a drink in over 3.5 years. I don't miss it. I don't want to drink. Now, that might not be the same for you. You might not need to quit alcohol. It might not be drinking that's affecting you. But that's just the example of the big rock that was in my way. Okay, it was alcohol for me. And procrastination is something I'm very good at dealing with now. Now, am I perfect every single day? No, no one is, right? And anyone who tells you they are, is not being truthful, okay? People, you can procrastinate for minutes here, minutes there, it happens to everyone, okay? But it's something I'm very good at spotting and recognising very quickly, and then I can move forward, okay? So that's what I have learned throughout this process and that plan, okay? And basically what happened was, with this plan, sorry, let me just move myself a little bit out of the way. Using this plan, I initially started helping people. I left my job and I started helping people remove alcohol with their alcohol habits or quit alcohol online. Okay, and that's how I started. I had a good amount of people. I was helping them change their lives. But what I noticed was that it wasn't just alcohol I was helping them with. It was, again, all of these other habits: procrastination, overthinking, perfectionism. All of these sort of things were coming up in conversation, and those were the things that I ended up helping them most with, okay, as well as the alcohol, but all the other ones took up a lot of our time. So that's what I noticed, was that people I was helping, it wasn't just alcohol, it was a sort of all these habits under the umbrella of self-sabotage that I was helping with people with anyway. So I thought, you know what, let me open this up to other people, because as I said, it was helping people with it anyway, okay. And bear with me. So I've now helped over 40 people overcome their self-sabotage using my method, and I want to teach others, right? I love teaching this. It's my passion now. It genuinely is. I love it, and I'm just using the same method that I used. Granted, a little bit changed with feedback from people, okay? But using my method now, I really want to help other people. And that's just it. It's one of the first things I think about when I wake up in the morning. It's one of the first things I think about before, the last things I think about before I go to my bed. It really is a passion of mine now. And yeah, I just want to share that with as much people as I can that really, really want to make a change. So, important question, what is self-sabotage? Absolutely valid question. You've probably heard the term branded about a lot online or in books nowadays, and you know, it's a very interesting thing, self-sabotage, and I just want to kind of explain where it comes from, why we do it, and it might give you a little, not to use as an excuse, but it might give you a little bit of an understanding of why we self-sabotage. That's what I'm hoping for. So self-sabotage is when we actively or passively prevent ourselves from reaching our goals, okay? So actively or passively there, keywords, so that's consciously or unconsciously preventing yourself from reaching your goals. Now, the fact you're on this video means you're aware to an extent that you are self-sabotaging, but while you are self-sabotaging, you might not be aware in the moment that you're doing it, okay? A lot of this is unconscious because it's been trained in your head over 10 years, right? It's deeply programmed. That's why these things can feel hard to break out of the cycle, okay? In other words, we knowingly or unknowingly don't do the things that would move our businesses forward and or participate in behaviours we know we shouldn't. I suppose that's it in a nutshell, right? It's more, you know, and this is a nutshell for me. I wasn't doing the things that I know I should have been doing, and I was also doing things that I know I shouldn't have been doing. Now, you might just be in one of those camps, but for me, I was absolutely, categorically in both of those camps, okay? So yeah, that's self-sabotage, briefly. So examples of self-sabotaging behaviours. By the way, there's a little table here. This is not limited to these behaviours, right? There's many more behaviours. There might be behaviours that you participate in that aren't on here, okay? But I'm sure if you look at this table, there's something there that's affecting you right now, okay? So I like to categorise this into two main sections, and that is internal and external, okay? And I'll explain what I mean by that. But internal, we have things like procrastination, negative self-talk, perfectionism, overcommitment, avoidance of challenges. On the external, we have alcohol, smoking, vaping, drugs, overeating, gaming. Okay, all of these things. Now, the external things are things we consume. Okay, I hope that's quite clear from the things I've put in the table. Now, that doesn't mean that the problem's not internal, okay, because it is, okay, but I hope that makes sense that they are things that we consume, and that's why I've split them into two main categories. And if you're looking at that right now, as I've said, there's probably one thing, at least on that screen right now, that you can relate to. This is the most important part in this video for me, okay? Regardless of, amongst everything that I'm going to, talk about, this is really important to me. I want you to know that self-sabotage is natural, okay? It is completely natural. It is our biology. It's what makes us human. It's completely natural in the sense that your brain is developed for survival, not necessarily growth, okay? And that's why self-sabotage is something we run into, okay? And as I mentioned, our brains are wired for survival because survival is what humans want to do. We want to carry on our species into the future, and survival is the main way of doing that, okay? So your brain is wired for you to survive. Okay, so why is that important? Well, stepping outside of your comfort zone creates a response by our brains to pull us back to safety. This is where procrastination, hesitation, and doubt come from, etc. There's a lot more things, but hope that makes sense. So when you step out of your comfort zone, your brain thinks there is something that is a threat outside of your comfort zone to your survival, and that's why your brain starts pulling you back in, hence why procrastination, hesitation, and doubt, okay? And I hope that's clear. Self-sabotage is a way of protecting us from future failure and disappointment. Again, it's kind of what I've been talking about. But look at those three words that I've mentioned there in red, okay? Survival, safety, protecting, okay? Look at the group of those words and you can see, your brain is trying to help you survive, it's trying to keep you safe, and it's trying to protect you, right? And that is the reason for self-sabotage. Because there's something in the goal that you're chasing that seems like a threat to your survival, okay? And that's usually where self-sabotage comes from. Again, I know, and this is massive as well, and I hope it helps you understand that you're not alone in this. Everyone experiences self-sabotage at some point in their life, no matter what level of business they're at, no matter what level of sport they're at, anything no matter what level of entertainment or singing they're at. Self-sabotage is completely natural. Every single person has experienced it, so you're not alone, and there's no one that's alone because no one on the earth hasn't self-sabotaged in some sort of way, okay? So I hope you know that you're not alone in this journey, and I hope that helps you understand very briefly what self-sabotage is, why it's natural, and a little bit about myself. So before I discuss a little bit about my program, how it's structured, what I do with people, I just want to run through a little bit of disclaimers with you, okay? So, and I'll get straight into this. So the program and how I help people, this is for you if you're already making money in your business, you want to get out of your own way and scale your business, you're sick and tired of being caught in a cycle of self-sabotage, quite important that you do feel that way, you're willing to put in the work and be held accountable, and to make sure that you're okay with being held accountable. Okay, you need to be okay with that. And you're willing to let go of this version of yourself and become someone new. Very important for me. I left this to last because I just wanted to add a few words on it. This is very important for me because who you are now is not going to be the exact same person as you are at the end of this program. There has to be an identity shift, which I'll talk about in a moment. But that is the goal of this program. Before anything, the goal of the program is to completely shift your identity, okay? You have to be okay with that. This program is not for you if you're comfortable where you are and you don't want to grow. By the way, I completely respect that. If you don't want to grow your business and you're okay where you are, I have nothing but respect for that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But it's just this program isn't necessarily for you, okay? You're looking for a quick fix to your habits. To put this bluntly, they don't exist, and anyone who's telling you they do exist is talking utter nonsense, okay? This is a process to change your identity. It can't be done with the click of a finger or a magic word. It's part of a process, okay? So if you're looking for a quick fix, this isn't for you. You're not willing to put in the work, it's quite self-explanatory. You need to be willing to put in the work to change yourself and trust the process, and, give yourself a little bit of time to adjust to all of this. This isn't, as I said, it's not the click of a finger, it's not a magic word, this is a process, so you have to be willing to put in the work. So if you fall under any of those three things that I've mentioned, that it's not for you, one or multiple, then this program's not for you, okay? Now, I get a lot of questions on my structure to my program, and here it is, okay? I'll briefly go over this with you and kind of talk through very briefly what it is, how it works, why I do things this way, okay? So my method's called the Beyond Sabotage Protocol, okay? That's the name I've given it because I want you to live beyond sabotage, okay? I don't want this to be some sort of quick grab, scale my business, do a couple of things. I want this to be a lifetime change for you, okay? That's the goal of what I'm doing. I'm not here to get you a few clients or a few this, a few that, or scale a little bit. This is an identity shift, okay? Just to be clear, I want you to live beyond sabotage, or at least be able to recognise it in the future when you are doing it, because it probably will come up at some point, okay? Now, the program's split into three sections. As you can see, they're colour-coded here in the red, yellow and green. First part's awareness, okay? The second part is action, and the last part is achievement, okay? So let me explain these in a little bit more detail for you. So awareness, the very first thing that I want you to do is be very aware of your habits. Will help you track all of your triggers, track your habits, behaviours, and get a very, very, very clear understanding of what is actually happening in your day-to-day life and why you're not following through with the work that you want to, okay, that you know you should be doing, okay? And if you're watching this, you probably know what you should be doing as well. So why aren't you doing it? We want to track this. And effectively, the reason for this is we want to find out a root cause to all of your self-sabotage, okay? Very important to me, because I don't want, as I've said before, I don't want you to be papering over the cracks at all here. I want this to be an actual lasting change. Also, to put this out there, finding your root cause is not an excuse, okay? Many people seem to be thinking that it's an excuse. It's not. It just helps you understand why you're not doing something, so we can put a plan in place to deal with that in the future, and so we know what beliefs, what fears you have that we need to reverse in the long run, okay? Now, in awareness, obviously, as I've said, we get aware of all your habits, but also want you to be very aware of the tasks that you need to do to move your business forward, okay? And I want you to prioritise and organise them, and together, me and you will go over all of this and create an action plan for you, customised to you, because at the end of the day, not everyone is the same, okay? So again, awareness, we get aware of your habits and aware of the tasks you need to do, and we develop a plan. As you can see here, I've wrote up here, these are things you shouldn't be doing, these are things you should be doing, okay? We always usually, as you can see here, it follows an arrow, we usually subtract before we add, okay? A big mistake is people trying to add all of this stuff to their life or add these new habits, when actually the real first thing you should be doing is subtracting something, okay, or at least cutting down on something. So I hope that clears that up. Awareness is the very first section of the program that we'll tackle together. Now, coming up to the second part of the program, it's called action. Sounds simplistic, okay, but what I just want to premise this and say that, as well as action, you need to allow adjustment time here, okay? Far too many times have I spoke to people or talked to people who try one thing and it doesn't work, and then throw the toys out the pram and think it's not working. But the fact it's not working is good, okay? That's feedback, okay? The fact something's not working is feedback to you, okay? So I'll help you adjust, and over time we will absolutely nail on this plan so that it suits you best, okay? Now, action, again, sounds simplistic, but at the end of action, my main goal is to reverse any beliefs you have. Okay, so look up here, I talked at the start about the root cause. I want to have completely reversed your belief in that root cause so that you can take frictionless action. So how do you reverse beliefs? Well, I'm a big believer that the only way you can actually reverse a belief is by experiencing it yourself, and the only way you can experience it is by taking action. So let me just take your attention towards this little circle or triangle here and help you see this cycle here, okay? And this is something you're going to hear me talk about a lot, okay? On my page, if you're working with me, I'll talk about it a lot. So let me give you an example. Your actions, you take action, you get evidence for your action. The evidence you get for your actions change your belief in yourself, and your belief in yourself changes your action. Okay, so if you're confused and you don't understand that, let me give you a personal example of mine, okay? So I'll use my binge drinking as one. So action, what would that be? For me, that would have been binge drinking on the weekend for 3 or 4 days, okay? That would be my action, okay? What evidence did I get from that? Well, on a Monday or Tuesday when I'd missed all of my sales calls and I was lying in my bed, hungover, and procrastinating on absolutely everything in my life, I would start to talk about myself very negatively, because the evidence that I had was that I couldn't control my behaviour and I couldn't control my impulses, okay? That was the evidence that I got, and that led to negative self-talk. And look, a lot of the words I can't say on here, but, you know, calling myself a failure, calling myself rubbish, telling myself I would never be successful, all of these things start coming into my mind because of my actions, okay? And while I'm telling myself these things, I start to believe them, okay? And the further my belief dropped, the worse action I took. The more I actually didn't like myself and had the more negative self-talk that I was participating in, the worse action I was taking, because you do what you believe you are. Okay, I'm a massive believer in that, and I hope that makes sense. So what we want to do is, I've just told you about the action evidence belief cycle, about my belief and my negative self-talk taking me down, getting worse and worse and worse. On the flip side of that, we can use this cycle to take us up and up and up. That's the goal here, okay? So I want you to take action and create a massive belief in yourself and get that hamster wheel rolling, right? I want you to create a momentum here, sorry about that. I want you to create a momentum here, like a hamster wheel of just pure momentum that helps you change your belief, and it'll get faster and faster and faster. And the goal of this part of the process is to completely reverse any beliefs that you held in your root cause, okay? And that's where the magic happens, right? That is, honestly, if you can do that, if you put in the effort, you will get there. But if you can reverse those beliefs, honestly, that's absolutely amazing. And that takes us to the last part of the program, achievement. Now, sounds great. Achievement. I hope whatever tangible goals you've set with me at the start of, on our very first call at the start of this program, I hope we achieve those, right? I really do. Numbers, business, if you want to grow it, that's fine, that's brilliant, fantastic. But that's great to me, but the biggest goal here for me is your identity shift. Okay, I want you to be a different person from the first day we spoke at the end of this program. I want you to be different. I want an identity shift into the person that's created all this momentum, right? Because see, if you change your identity, right, and this is what I believe, if you change your identity, your business grows as a byproduct, right? That all that stuff's a byproduct of identity shift, right? And that is what I believe. I believe that firmly, okay? And I've also got at the bottom of here momentum, right? I want you to create a massive momentum in your life and your business, and have this going and going, and be doing enough all the time to keep the momentum going and not let the momentum drop. I need you to protect momentum at all costs, honestly. Protect your momentum at all costs, because as I mentioned before, you remember I talked about when I was most vulnerable, so many people get this momentum going and they take their foot off the gas and everything slows down again, and that's when you can end up reverting back into your own habits. And complacency is something you do not want, right? So I will make sure that you don't get complacent with all of this. And again, as I've said, your business goals, that's absolutely fantastic. But if we get an identity shift and momentum going, the business goals come as a byproduct of that. So what's included in my program? Well, let me just read through this one by one, okay? So my program is 6 months long, okay? And I don't want it to take 6 months for your identity shift and momentum to get going, right? I would actually really like it to be half of that. But the reason it's 6 months is, again, to protect that momentum and to help people not get complacent, right? Because it happens to so many people. A weekly call with me for 30 minutes, you'll have access to my calendar, and you can book that whenever you want, right? It doesn't have to be the same time every week. Book it whenever you want to have a 30-minute chat with me, so we can keep you on track, and I can keep you accountable most of all. A weekly group call that we'll be doing. You can join the weekly group call. I might actually be doing 2 just because of the time zones people are in. It maybe makes sense to do 2. You can join them both if you want, but join a group call every week if you'd like, and I'd actually recommend it because it's good to chat to other people. Access to the group chat with everyone in the programme. That's a great place. We share our wins, share our stories in there. And you know what? When you feel other people getting momentum, you can feel it building within yourself as well. So you'll have access to the group chat. You'll also have the course material to work through at your own pace, right? That's up to you how quickly you do that. What I would say is, though, I don't want you to do it too quick, okay? Because this is a process. But you have the course material to work through on your own. You also have access to me 6 days a week. I don't work on a Sunday. But other than that, you have direct access to me, and I always get back to you as quick as I can. Okay, obviously I have calls and stuff with people, but as quick as I can, I'll get back to you. And again, you have direct access to me for 6 days per week. So how much time or energy does this take? Because that's a massive question I get, and I get it, right? Because I get you're busy, I get time is so valuable, right? 30 to 90 minutes per week is what I like to sort of give as a time frame, right? 30 being minimum, 90, you can work more than 90 if you want to, but I just feel like you can work on this for more than 90, but I just feel like that's a good sort of range of time that I would ask you to work on this. So 30 to 90 minutes per week of your time, and if you take this seriously, the results will come. And just wanted to quickly go over as well with you, I've got a few, just quickly posted in here, a couple of examples about people have helped, okay? And just because I'm on the first one here, let me just talk you through them. So Sean owns a construction company, and he's from Australia. He owns a construction company that he's been running for 15 years. He joined this program with some bad habits and procrastination. He was missing out on sales calls. He wasn't following up with potential leads, all that sort of stuff that I'm sure you can relate to, and had some bad habits. And within 2 months, he'd signed 5 new contracts and doubled the turnover in his business. And one of the best quotes that I've ever had from anyone I've worked with, he wrote down here, if he'd chosen that path 10 years ago, he would be retired by now, which is amazing. One of the best quotes I've ever heard. Another one as well, Will lives in Toronto. He is a property development consultant. Okay, he came to me again with bad habits, procrastination, sort of similar stuff to Sean. And within 6 weeks of working together, he'd actually signed a client worth $300K for the next year. Right, which is fantastic because Will's company was only 18 months old, which is pretty young in the grand scheme of things, okay? So another fantastic result for him, and he's only just went from strength to strength from then, okay? Another one up here, this client prefers to remain anonymous, which is absolutely fine. That's something I completely respect. There is the option for you to do that within group chat and calls. You can remain anonymous, absolutely no problem at all. So this person, he is a project manager in a earthworks company. Okay, he lives in Alberta in Canada, and he's got a good job, but he'd always had these sort of daydreams about side businesses. Okay, he'd always thought about these side businesses, but he's mentioned to me so many times it was just daydreams. He wasn't taking any action to actually, get the plan moving forward or get these dreams to be a reality. And he came to me with some bad drinking habits. Okay, he's drinking most days, almost every day, and procrastinating on all of his dreams. And as of recording this right now, he is about 7 months without a drink of alcohol. He has stopped procrastinating. He started 2 companies. He started a logistics company that has someone driving for him while he works. He's secured a $100,000 project taking place over a few months, okay? And he's also started a bin rental company, which has grown and grown week on week. And that's absolutely amazing that he's got 2 side businesses going while he's working his job. This is Lee. Lee, as of recording this, I think he's about 8-9 months sober. He came to me with bad drinking habits, procrastination, all of the stuff I kind of talked about with Dustin. Very, very similar situation, actually. And he managed to get his side project going. He wanted to create something within football or soccer for everyone in Australia, Canada or USA that is watching this video. He wanted to create a sort of business or something within football or soccer, and he got his an article and photography published in big magazines over here. So It's absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see his growth from now, but it's been fantastic. And then just lastly, on the messages that I quickly put in here, Kieran, I say lastly, but this is fantastic. Kieran came to me, he was drinking every day, okay? And as of right now, I actually messaged him yesterday. As of right now, Kieran is over, in fact, you can see 22nd of July there, so it's actually 2 months ago. He's over 12 months sober now. He's over 12 months sober, and he was drinking every single day, and he's doing fantastically. Okay, it's really amazing what can happen when you change your habits and get out of this cycle of self-sabotage. So, these are a brief couple of messages, but what I would say is, if you would like to actually hear directly from some of these people and more people, there's more examples of people I've worked with, and check out the pinned post on my profile, okay? The top left, it says like client results or something like that, I can't remember off the top of my head. Scroll through that, it's a carousel, there's 6 or 7 people you'll hear talking there that have helped, and that's a good thing to listen to, okay? So, at the end of this video, I hope that clears up a lot of your questions, okay? I hope it does clear up a lot of things that were maybe on your mind. And with all that being said, if this sounds like it could be of help to you, there's going to be a link in the description. It might be up in the top of the video somewhere, but there's going to be a link in the description to a Calendly link on my calendar. Book in to have a chat with me. And if you're booking in, please fill out the form before a call so that it helps me understand your situation a little bit better before the call, okay? But again, if it feels like you're the right fit for this, if it feels like something you want to chat about, please book a call and let's have a chat. And yet, thank you very much for watching until the end. And again, give yourself some credit for taking some steps with your self-sabotage.